What's going on, YouTube? So there's this big controversy going around about a topic I want to talk about here in just a minute. But before I get to that, it's been brought to my attention and asked if I would discuss. We've been having a lot of female abductions in the southern central area of Ohio. They're targeting females. We're not sure at this point the purpose of the targeting. There is some speculation about sex trafficking. Some of the target areas that were mentioned to me, and I'm still in the process of doing some research on this, but I want to get this out as soon as I can because it's better to be safe than sorry. Areas like the Huntington Mall, different Walmarts, shopping areas, parks, things like that. So ladies, please be careful. Somebody at home loves you and wants you to come home. And it's always going to be probably, shouldn't even say probably, it's always going to be somebody you least expect or when you least expect it to happen. Okay, so this controversial topic, one of many in our country right now, gun control. The Democratic Party has launched in retaliation to executive order, national emergency by our president that they want to push gun control. There's two bills that's been introduced to the House, H.R. 1112 and H.R. 8. These outline a lot of bad things that's going to turn a lot of good law-abiding citizens into criminals. Okay? So, you know, the big push is because they have these numbers, right? But before I get to the numbers, I want you guys to understand that we have law in place already, okay? Way more than we should, because our Second Amendment of the United States Constitution says, in black and white, or black ink and parchment paper, however you want to say it, has the words "shall not be infringed." Okay, it's pretty simple, really. I mean, anybody with any concept of the English language can comprehend that. Unfortunately, we have politicians and younger generation. Not all of you. I'm not attacking all of you younger generation, but a large part of the younger population have been indoctrinated. Another word for indoctrinated is brainwashed. Okay. You first need to understand why we have a Constitution. The Constitution is law that limits the power of government over the American people, the citizens. Okay. And without that, we would still be under rule, maybe not necessarily British rule, but we would still be under a ruler of sort. And that's why the Second Amendment is so important, is it keeps us a free nation, okay? So when politicians push for it, and trust me when I tell you guys this, all right? If the left or the Democrat liberals, however you want to describe them, weren't pushing for this, the right would be, okay? A lot of you guys are shaking your head. You can't believe I just said that. It's true, all right? If for anybody who understands anything about government, you will know already that the left and the right are connected to the same entity. Left wing, right wing. They call it a wing because it's connected to the same bird, all right? It's the same corrupt bird. And they are nothing more than puppets for those who own this country. Yeah, I said own it. I didn't say rule it. I said own it. All right? And the reason they're pushing for this, and I'm going to show you here in these numbers, that it's unfounded. all right? And they only have one reason to do it. You got to think, how do you conquer a nation? Do any of you know? How do you conquer a nation? There's two things that have to happen. You first have to, well, three things. You first have to indoctrinate the people into believing you. The second thing is you have to divide the people, okay? You ever heard the saying that united we stand? It's pretty much printed on almost all of our currency. United we stand. Divided we will fall, okay? And then the third thing is you have to disarm the people, because no free man or woman will willingly be ruled. Not with any common sense anyway. Not with any sense of education of how government works. Or anybody who's actually read a history book. Anybody who can read cursive writing, who can read the founding documents. Okay? In fact, the Second Amendment was thought to be so important, along with the First Amendment, that it not only is in our Constitution, but it's also in our Bill of Rights. Okay? If you've never heard of the Bill of Rights, then shame on you. You're not really an American. Okay, so let's get to these numbers. All right, so first I want to talk to you about some of the numbers that was issued by the CDC. There were 32,000 gun-related deaths last year. Well, that's a pretty big number, right? But what is included in that number are a lot of different areas, okay? For example, did you know that 60% of 32,000 people who died in firearm-related deaths last year, 60% were suicide. 60% were people who took their own life. You know, and at 20-something a day for our veterans, because our veterans need help in so many different ways. And our country, mostly our government, has fallen to provide what they promised to those folks. 3% are accidents. Okay, 4% are justified shootings, whether it was an officer in the line of duty, justified, or whether it was a civilian protecting his home or his life. That's what they mean by justified. 33% are homicides. 80% of homicides are gang-related. 80%. Now, this comes from the CDC. That leaves 1,712 people, roughly, in a country with a population over 312 million that were killed by firearms, okay, of the homicides. That number just shrunk a lot. But you know where they want to place that blame? They want to place it on me and you, the law-abiding citizen who wants to do right so that we're not incarcerated, so that we're not labeled a radical or a fanatic or whatever else title they want to put on us, because we're free men and women. Okay? Let's talk about a couple other numbers here. So, I also did a little bit of research about death in the United States and the causes of it. Did you know that over 40,000 people died in 2017 by car, automobile? Of those 40,000, 3,285 were due to distracted drivers. You know what a distracted driver is? That's somebody with the phone up to their head. That's somebody with texting while driving, Facebooking while driving, YouTubing while driving. As a truck driver since 1993, I cannot even begin to tell you the things that I have seen the motoring public do. Driving down the road in the morning, rush hour traffic, bumper to bumper, 75, 80 mile an hour, with a TV on their dash, a bowl of cereal in their lap, a cup of coffee in their hand, and ladies putting on makeup while they're driving down the road looking into the mirror. Okay, these are the type of things that are distracted drivers. Okay, do you smoke? I smoke cigarettes. Do you smoke cigarettes? Did you know that smoking is related to over 480,000 deaths in 2018? 480,000 deaths. That's huge. Okay? How about overdose? Do we have any idea how many people have died of overdose? Well, in 2018, they're saying 72,000 people died of overdose. Okay? But yet they want to target law-abiding citizens that are trying to protect their families and their property and their liberties. Okay? The Second Amendment wasn't made and designed for hunting. The people who wrote the Second Amendment didn't just come home from hunting white-tailed deer. Okay? They just got home from fighting for our independence. Do you understand that? Our independence. They just got done telling England, which by the way used to rule a quarter of the world, and now they rule an island about the size of Michigan. Okay? We told them no. They come over and said, give us your guns. And we said, no, it ain't happening. Okay? That's the people who wrote the Constitution. That's the people who wrote the Second Amendment. The same people who wrote the First Amendment, which a lot of people have no problem exercising their First Amendment right. Okay? They're allowed to tell me that, you know, I'm evil because I carry a firearm to protect my family from evil, but I'm the one that's evil. You know, that makes absolutely no sense to me at all. So, why? Why? There's only one good reason why. Okay? The people who own this country want to rule this country. All right? They're not going to rule this country as long as people like you and I say no. Do you know that the people sitting in Washington right now, the only thing they fear is you and me united? It doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter what religion you believe. It doesn't matter. What matters is when we're divided, we are weak, which is exactly what they want. Okay? They've already indoctrinated, I don't know how many generations. It started before I went to public school because I was indoctrinated somewhat too. But I was also given the ability of critical thinking. And that's where a lot of our youth today haven't got to that point yet. My eyes wasn't open when I was 18 years old. I was building hot rods and you know, other dumb stuff. But as we progress and the media wants to make this already available in your face every single day, constant, non-stop, then you get these opinions. Now, I'm not picking on the Democratic Party because I have good friends who are Democrats who also believe in gun rights. They believe that it's fundamental and it's necessity and crucial to us being free people. Okay? So, don't buy the rhetoric. Don't buy it. It doesn't matter left or right. And trust me, you folks on the right, you aren't innocent in any of this either. Okay? And now I'm speaking to the citizens. I watch you guys all day, constantly. You want to share these memes, okay? And these memes are filled with hate toward a group. What are you trying to provoke? What are you trying to provoke? Because what I'm seeing is not going to be good for this country. Ask any American citizen who has fought in the military for America, who has been to war. And I'm not talking about the ones who sat behind a desk. I'm not talking about ones who didn't see the fight. I'm telling you to ask the ones who've seen the fight what's coming. They've been to other countries, all right? They've fought for our liberty and freedom, you know, and the interest of the governing power at the moment. That's a whole other conversation, all right? So exercise your right to bear arms. Write your congressman, call them. Write your senator, call them. Tell them we are not going to be ruled. And they better remember their place. I hope this video stays up for a little while. According to a lot of the standards of media today, I'll probably be deleted pretty soon. But anyway, peace.